Tourette's podcast is not a medical advice show. It's a show about experiences. In the course of that, we may talk about medications or therapies or stories from the doctor's office. But don't mistake any of that for medical advice or direction. It's not.
Get that only from people or places licensed or certified to give it, not from a massively fun or action-packed podcast about our life experiences.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Tourette podcast.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Jhonelle.
All right, and today we are bringing you a lighthearted little episode. We today are talking about, so we talked about weird tics in the past or weird things that tics have made us do, that kind of thing in the past. So today we thought we would talk about those times where our tics just make us laugh because they make us do either some off-the-wall thing, and it's laughing with us here. Just as a reminder, it's always okay to laugh with us, not at us, anybody that's listening that doesn't have Tourette syndrome. And so we wanted to talk about it just to kind of bring a little lightheartedness to the conversation. So, Jhonelle, I'm going to let you go first and talk about an instance if you can think of one.
Absolutely. Funny moments. Okay, so one I can think of for sure. This has happened more than once as well. Not this exact tune, but this has happened. So I have a tic where I clap. It always kind of changes. It's not a rhythmic clap like a typical applause clap. It's just where I clap in front of my face or near my ear or something. But there have been times where I started a clap and however it came out sounded like a tune that I knew. And then the tic would kind of be over, but then I'd have a new tic that would finish it. So for example, I don't want to clap in the mic because it'll kind of sound weird, but one time I clapped and it went dun 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 dun. And I was like, oh, and I had another tic that went dun dun, which sounds like the famous door knock. And I was just like, that's really weird that the spacing between when I clapped sounded exactly like that. And then I had a second tic that finished it, I guess. And I was like, I literally busted, like it happened and then I started laughing because I was like, wow, like that is something. It always just cracks me up when that happens. Or there's been like I've had another tune, same thing where I clap and it sounds like another tune, so then I have another tic where it finishes it. So I don't really know if that would categorize itself as a different tic, like a tic that finishes the first tic, or if it just is the same or what. But
it's like always kind of makes me laugh. Talking to each other.
Yeah, exactly. It always makes me laugh.
That's really funny, especially because like I know the few times that I've been in rooms with people with Tourette syndrome, it's almost like other people finish. It's like their tics talk to each other in the room almost. When people have verbal tics, I've noticed like when I went to the Tourette conference a couple years ago, not the one that just happened. Like I swear, like people's verbal tics were talking to each other back in the room, or like anybody walking in, like walking past, that didn't know what was happening. They probably thought somebody was having like a really like fight or something, maybe. So it's funny that your own tics did it to each other.
Yeah, every time.
The one that I can think about for tics making me laugh and also slightly embarrassing me. So like when you have those moments where it's whether it's somebody you know or you don't know in the store, just somewhere where like you keep going the same direction when you're trying to pass each other, and it's like
yes.
Well, I had that. Yeah. Well, I had that happening, but I was also doing my foot kicking tic at the same time, so I couldn't quite move quick enough. And if anybody that has not heard me talk about my foot kicking tic, I have to do it on each foot. And like it was in overdrive, like I was having a very hard time. I wasn't able to suppress it at this time. Like I think I was even walking away for a minute to do it, and that's when somebody turned the corner, and I looked back I walked over to Sky and like, my foot kicking tic just made me do the most embarrassing situation with that man. I felt so dumb because not only was it like, oh, sorry, my feet are kicking, but it's like crazy.
Like I literally can't stop.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to go in a different aisle.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think if anything like that's happened with another person. I mean, for sure, like I've had tics that have popped up which usually only happen when I'm around other people that are ticking or friends that know that I'm ticking, and I'm ticking a lot, where I will like look at something, like let's just say I'm like have my elbowing tic or like stretching my arm out tic, and then I look at their arm and then I like have to touch their arm. And then it's like, don't do it. Like my hand is kind
Right.
of like, don't do it. And then it just happens. And then I'm like, sorry. Um, but thankfully, it's typically been either other people with Tourette syndrome or my friends. It has not been a stranger.
Yeah.
I have elbowed strangers. That is the thing. But that I don't really count that as funny. Um, but I'm trying to think what else. I definitely have had some really interesting moments when it comes to my typing tick. So much
Okay.
so that I have turned on the confirm send thing on my personal email. I haven't found a way to do it on my work
Oh,
email because sometimes I'm like, no, please don't send that. Um, and my typing tick isn't typing a specific thing. I know some people do have writing or typing ticks where they have to type or write a specific thing. Mine is just that my fingers move really fast on the keyboard and press a bunch of stuff. Like I'm
me
playing
too.
a video game and I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to win the fight. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
However, sometimes when I'm doing things, obviously typing already kind of triggers it, and I'll just type all over.
Yeah.
And I started taking photos of, I guess, the evidence because I want to put like a photo collage together one day of all the things that have popped up on the screen or that that tick has made me do. So the
Yeah.
craziest thing thus far, the wildest thing thus far, is that somehow, remember, I was on my laptop on a web based thing. This was not like in a certain application. This was literally the internet. And I was typing something in. And somehow, whatever combo I did brought up emojis
Oh, there is
on
a way that,
the
yeah.
internet. I was like, what is this? Why am I getting these Minecraft looking emojis popping up
Right?
on the like I was like, this is not like I was messaging somebody. This is not like I was in Discord. Like it was the internet.
Like it came up like a search almost, or just like popped up in
It
the middle of your
it
screen.
popped up like when you go on your phone and you click emojis and it shows you that
Yeah.
list. It popped up like that. Like a
Oh,
whole bunch of like hearts, animals, smiley
yeah.
faces, and I was shocked because I've never didn't know that existed. Like I
Right.
obviously don't know what I did to recreate it.
Right. Right.
I can't recreate it. I can't tell you what
Right.
that is. But
And I do
apparently the
know
internet
there's a
has
way.
emojis.
Yeah, there's a way to there's like a shortcut or something that you can get emojis on the keyboard, which so that's really funny. I
Yeah.
think it's funny because we'll do stuff because I'll do stuff on my. I have it too where like I have to hit like I basically kind of slam the keys and just whatever
Yeah.
happens happens.
Mhm.
And I've had some weird things come up. I'm like, well, how did I do this? I don't even know. I don't even know what I
Yeah.
did.
Exactly.
And a lot of my finger tapping tics get me into weird situations on
Mm.
the computer and my phone mostly. I have, well, at
Yeah,
one
that too.
point, this was more like slightly frightening for a few, not in like a dangerous way, but like I have to continuously like tap on my phone. I do it a lot.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so before like the facial recognition was a thing, I had a passcode on my phone and I ended up having to take it off because I kept tapping and I kept putting
Yeah.
it in wrong and I got
You
locked
locking
out of my
yourself.
phone and it was
Oh
it
no.
and if I didn't have the thing turned on or like if it happened like so many other times like it was gonna erase the stuff on my phone because like it
Mhm.
thinking somebody else had it. I'm like, well that scared me. And then I like my phone was locked for like 5-10 minutes and I couldn't get back on and I'm like, this is great. So I had to take it off right away.
Wow. That's a good
And
point.
yeah, I
I
have a
didn't think
one
about
now,
that.
but it also does my face, so it doesn't cause as much of a problem anymore. But
Mhm.
that one was scary for me. But because my stupid tapping tick, I have sent friend requests to people that I don't mean to send friend requests to, people that I don't know.
Mhm. Then it's awkward because you
I
take it away, but they still get the notification.
right, and then I
Mhm.
answer survey like one question surveys that I don't mean to answer, and it just pops up all of a sudden like, "Thanks for answering our survey." I'm like, "You're welcome." And then I almost share things all the time. And that's the one that's embarrassing for me because it'll
Yeah.
be like somebody that I'm just like an acquaintance with. Close
Right.
enough to be Facebook friends, but not like really close in real life at
Yeah.
all.
Like, well, yeah.
And it'll be like, pictures of their baby or their kid, and I'm like, oh, this will be real weird. So I think one
Yeah.
time it happened, right? I wasn't able to stop it, and I think I got it deleted like before anybody saw it. But like,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh
Yeah, you have
my
those moments of
gosh,
panic as soon as it happens.
yeah,
You're like, yeah, that happened to me. Um, I that wasn't a tick though. I think I was just clumsy where I accidentally was like reacting to something somebody posted, and I was like, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to
yeah,
like, delete it.
right,
Delete reaction. Yeah, that is definitely a thing that's happened to me. The sharing thing I definitely get as well. Uh, for sure. That I don't know. It's just one of those things that's just really funny and comical. Another I just remembered another thing with the keyboard that occurred when I was on Teams. What? No, I wasn't on Teams. I was also on the internet, but I was doing something for work. And I don't know how. I remember I went to Teams and I started talking to my teammates because I needed to see if it was doing the same thing. But somehow, I don't know how to explain it. Whatever I was typing, it wasn't backwards, but the order was backwards. So if I was
okay,
typing like I went and visited this person on this date, like I would type in I and then I would type in went, but then instead it would say went I and then like visited. It would say visited went I and I was like, what has happened? Like there was no and I couldn't sit there and do it backwards because then when it would go down to the next line, like it would mess up the order and it wouldn't be exactly and I was like, guys, I need help. I don't know what's happening. So my tics caused this. It's going crazy. And I like screenshotted that and sent it. And I was like, somehow it's fine in Teams, but it's not fine on this program I'm using. It was really weird. But I ended up just having to like, I just like copied the contents of the note just in case because I had already written a lot. I
right,
exited out of the note and I went back in and it got fixed. But I
okay.
did something in
How
that time being
weird.
where everything was, I can't even say backwards because it wasn't. Because when I went to a new line, it like messed up. It was
Yeah,
really weird. It was really weird, but yeah, it was just really funny the way I was like freaking out on Teams. So like, guys, what's going on? Help!
right.
Somebody. Hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I've
Ticks
never
make.
had that happen. I didn't even know that was an option.
I
Like,
didn't
but at the
either.
same time, like, why is that an option for the computer to do?
Exactly. Exactly. Like
Like,
I didn't ask for Yoda mode. So I don't know. I don't know. And that's just one of the things where, like I said, with this specific tick, just randomly typing, I will be putting in combinations of things that I have no idea. Like it could just be things I type, like the letters. But then oftentimes I'm hitting other stuff like Alt, Control, FN, Caps Lock, Tab,
mm-hmm,
and whatever else, and then somehow it's like a finish her combo, and all of a sudden we got all kinds of stuff that's happening that I didn't know was possible, like Yoda mode or emojis on the internet.
right.
I don't know how else to
Oh,
describe it.
that's
I
too
just keep
funny.
saying the internet because it would make sense if I did something on Discord and it was a shortcut and all
Right, like
the,
you weren't in like a chat with
emotes popped up.
somebody.
Right. It was literally just the internet. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like
That's really
I was
funny.
just I don't know. It was really weird. Um, but that always cracks me up when I think
Yeah,
about it. I'm like, somehow I found that you can do something and get emojis on the internet and apparently access Yoda mode in that program we use for work. I have no idea.
that's really funny. Yeah, I've always done.
Hmm.
There's been times, and I can't think of something very specific, but I know there's been times where like I was ticking with my hands on my computer, and it'd be a work computer, and something pops up, and I'm like, did I just did I just break my
Hmm.
computer? And I have to be
Yeah.
like, look, you guys know how I have Tourette syndrome.
Bruh,
Well, my tics broke it.
I
Oops.
have two missing keys on my work keyboard. Not even lying. I don't fully know it's from the typing tick of just randomly smashing things, but I definitely think one could have been because I also had a thing where I would take the mouse and hit it against the side of the keyboard.
Me? Me too. I was at a job,
Wow.
one of my old jobs.
Twinsies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love you.
I love you too.
I
This
was
is great.
at an old job and I was leaving, but I would always hit my mouse. I slam it down, but then I would hit it on the side of the keyboard. And I
Mhm.
noticed when I was getting ready to leave, like, because I was, it was like my last like few days getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm like cleaning stuff up to my desk and stuff. And I noticed like the keyboard was like super dented. Like there was marks on the side of it. I'm
Oh
like,
no.
ooh. I'm like, am I gonna get a bill for this after I
Pushes it
leave?
away.
Like,
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the day that I have to like be like Tourette's 1,
right,
Jhonelle 0. I mean, waiting isn't hoping it does not come with like work stuff
right,
because then I'll feel bad. I won't have to pay for it to be replaced, but also feel
right,
bad hoping I don't have to
right,
pay for it.
right.
But yeah, that I let me see. Does my keyboard have a dent? I'm about to look. I don't see one, but I do see some chips. I do have some
Yeah.
chips at the
I
edge.
guess that would have been the more accurate term. There was chips missing from it
Yeah,
for
there
sure.
are chips missing. I can't pull it out right now because it might mess with the wires that I have up. There is a specific chip right where I hit it, and it's not too far away from the missing key. Thankfully, the missing key is not
Okay.
anything important. Whatever is like next to your arrows, it's that. Or before
Okay.
like the number the pad, whatever that is.
Oh,
I
okay.
see page up, page down, and then something missing. All I know is I never pressed it before, so I'm not mad that it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely have some chips in there. It's funny, get a laugh to keep from
Right.
crying.
Right. Yeah, sometimes we do laugh at our tics because like and it's such a fine line. It's like a weird conversation to have with people because like as I said in the beginning, like laughing with us is one thing, laughing at us is a completely different. And I think that gets
Right.
really I think that is like a thin line that people don't understand. Like when I talk about how like, Tourette syndrome is not a joke. Like you don't get to make fun of it all
Mhm.
the time. You don't get to have a punchline. There's always like somebody who's like, well, but I think finding humor in it and laughing at myself is important. And I'm like, oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But there's a very big difference with making fun of us and laughing and joking around with
Mhm.
us.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and especially when you're the person with it. Like me and you, yeah, that'd be totally different because we know what kind of
Mhm.
playing field we're on. We know that we're not
Exactly.
truly making fun of each other if we
Right.
say something. Where some random stranger, like initially, I would probably take offense to
Mhm.
that. Like when I tell people I've trust them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, so you swear all the time? That's so cool!"
And you're
And I
like,
have to do the whole fake smile. I'm like,
so
"Well,
original.
actually, it's not really what it is."
Mhm.
And so I think that's like the fine line. But I do, because I agree. I agree, like, it's good to laugh. Like, when I did the whole cooking thing, it was embarrassing, but I laughed at
Mhm.
myself afterwards. And I went to tell
Yeah.
Scott because I knew he would thought it was funny too. And he
Mhm.
knows especially if I'm bringing it up, like, it's going to be funny. And then
Right.
the one time, I made a joke or something about, like, one time I wish I just had a tick where, like, I hit somebody so I could get away with it.
I've definitely done that.
But, um, and then it's just kidding because I feel like it's a fine line there too because I don't. It's also the people who are like, oh, you get away with everything all the time, and it's like, no,
Mhm.
actually, we don't.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I just yeah, have elbowed people for sure. I might have accidentally hit somebody as I was ticking, but it wasn't a tick to hit somebody.
yeah,
Um, but even when that happens, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like I feel so bad, and the
right,
person that understands like now is like, hey, like I get it's involuntary. I'm like, I know, but it still sucks for you.
right,
I'm trying to like suppress that tick, like let it out a little bit, but like suppress it still, so it's not as powerful.
right.
Uh, yeah. So I totally get that. Another thing I just thought of, which now that I'm thinking about it, it is very much hmm. It's I don't even know how I would describe this. It's the same tick, but it's a different font, I would say. So the thing the thing I don't know, my brain comes up with weird metaphors. The thing I just described with like how I would have the clapping tick and then it would finish the tune is the
Hmm.
same thing that happens with like humming or yeah. Like I've definitely I don't really know what is humming, but I definitely have I don't know what noise it is. Whatever noise I make did that and it came kind of a sing-songy tune and it sounded like a song, so I like finished it. but it's also a tic. So I'm like, it's the same tic, but one's a vocal tic, one's a motor tic. So like different fonts, same tic. So I'm like,
I
maybe it
like
is a
that.
separate tic. I don't know.
Man, I feel like same tick, different font should be the title of this episode.
Oh my gosh, yes. Let's do it. Same tic, different font.
I love
Let's
it.
do it. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if that would be completely a different tic or
Right.
I don't know, but
Just a
it
variation of it, I guess, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah,
One's vocal, one's motor, but it's the same thing.
right.
It's
I
interesting.
um I just thought of one where again it's my foot kicking tick I feel like is the one that gets me to the most weird situations.
Mhm.
And it was by myself, but I was on the walk part of a run and I was turning the cul-de-sac and I've made videos before where like I've noticed like when I tick my way down to the mailbox,
Mm.
everything echoes in our neighborhood and I don't know why and I hear like my foot kicking tick echo back to me and it's really great. I love it so much.
Wow. A
And
symphony.
yeah. And so it was happening, and so I had my music in, but it paused or like because these stupid headphones, they don't. I like them, but they, as I've been adjusting the whole time, they don't stay in my ears well. And I've tried
Mhm.
different sizes, and I just don't know why. But that happened, and if you adjust it, sometimes it'll pause the music
Mhm.
that I'm listening
Yeah,
to.
where you like tap. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that happened, and I all of a sudden I just like it was like my foot because I was ticking, especially when I was
Yeah, at the
walking, I was
same
doing
time.
the foot kicking
Mhm.
tick, and it was echoing, and it was like it was just in surround sound for me, and like because the music paused, and I'm like, ugh, and then like I took my headphone out just to see, I'm like, is that as loud as I think it is? And then it was, and then I swear, 2 seconds later I start doing it again, and it's loud, like echoing off of something.
Yeah.
It made a dog start barking in the neighborhood, and I'm like.
It's okay.
I'm like,
It's okay.
oh my
Maybe
God.
they were just barking because they heard a noise, you know? Like, dogs are protective, they heard a
Right.
noise.
I was just like, I need to get home. I need
That's
to
but
go back
that's
home.
I don't know if I'll say that's cool, though, because I can imagine, like, at night or something, like, please don't make the second noise, and then you can't help it, but, I mean, just the fact that you have an area where you can make an echo, like, I don't think I've ever
Right.
been somewhere where you can
It's
do that,
weird. And I don't
unless it's
understand
like
why.
yeah, that's
Like,
cool, though.
I guess I don't understand like the scientifics of it either
Right.
because, so that's
Like,
probably
what
why.
is there for it to bounce off to echo back? Yeah.
Right. Because it's just houses. It's like, it's a little neighborhood,
Mhm.
but I mean, there's
Mm.
like some woods and stuff, but I don't know. Because, like, even like if you have a conversation sometimes or you talk like slightly loud, which my
Yeah.
whole family does, it's just in our blood. Somebody at work the other day said, she's like, I just like that you talk because we always have to talk in a like a walkie to tell people to pick up dogs.
Mhm.
She's like, I just like that you talk loud. I'm like, oh, that's just, that was handed down to me. I don't know how to be quiet very often.
Yeah.
I was like, before you knew me here, I was like, I was a Jackson, and a Jackson thing is just, you're louder than you think you are all the time.
Mm. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to think of other situations, like funny situations that have occurred because of my tics, vocal tic wise. I mean, there's stuff that happens all the time, like where you have a vocal tic and somebody says "bless you." You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably experienced that. I think that's pretty common in the community, or even certain motor tics. People are like, "Oh, bless you," like because they think like you sneezed. I was about
Right.
to say snoozed. I really was about to say snoozed. They think you snoozed. Oh my gosh. Anyways, they thought that you sneezed. And then sometimes I'm just like, thank you. Because like, I don't know. I don't feel like explaining this right now.
Right.
Uh I think that's been the typical thing. Apparently I um have a certain vocal tick when I am going to sleep or like in light sleep. I don't know about deep sleep, but in light sleep, that my friends who were on a trip, they thought I was still awake and they thought I was like saying like, huh? Like and like kind of like what'd you say? And they started talking to
Yeah.
me and I was just kept saying, huh? Huh? And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh no, I don't think she's she's talking to us. I mean, yeah, that and then I learned
That's
that's what I do.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll tap Scott sometimes, like my tapping one. It'll be on him
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and sometimes it's a little harder than I want it to be, and I always apologize, even though
Yeah.
I know he doesn't care. Because
Yes.
sometimes he'll try to help, like he's like, "Will it help if I like?" Because like when I hit my elbow back, and he'll
Mhm.
try to like put his hand there to help me so I don't hurt myself. He's like, "Does it help if I do that?" I'm like, depending on the situation, it does. Like when it's on the couch, because then it gives me a
Mhm.
more solid surface, so it does make the tick feel more complete. I'm like, it
Yeah.
does. I was like, but this tick gets intense. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to hurt you
So you'd have a
on
bruised
accident,
hand, yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm
But
curious. I mean, I'm sure he does because for everybody that's listening, Scott is her husband, and I've had a chance to meet him at a conference, and he's super nice and he's wonderful. Um, because you're talking about tapping, I'm sure him as well as other people around us that have been around us with our ticks that we're don't have to mask long enough have kind of noticed the difference between like you like tapping as a tick versus you like actually tapping him to get his attention.
yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes people are like, well, how will I know the difference? Like, I don't want to be rude and ignore
Oh,
them
right.
if they're really tapping on me, but I don't want to just look at them every time they tap because then they're going to feel self conscious. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a difference. There's a
Yeah.
big
There's a
difference in how you
Yeah, it's
do
more of
that tick.
like you were kind of saying earlier, almost like rhythmic for me with my
Mm-hmm.
tapping, like it's in certain patterns. And then sometimes there will be times where, because like I have new tics pop up just like anybody else with
Yeah.
Tourette syndrome, and
Right.
he'll ask me if he's not sure. He's like, "Was that a tick or like was that
Mm-hmm.
something else?" Like I just want to be sure. And so,
Was that a tick or dot dot dot?
yeah,
I am making this face because I've literally heard that so many times where I
yeah,
do something and they're like, "Oh, is that a tick?" Or and I'm like, "No, I actually." Like one time I was upset or doing something and I don't know, I'm dramatic. If you know me, I'm very dramatic. And I was like, "Oh, this is frustrating. Like I can't. Why did I do that?" And I like smacked myself. And then somebody's like, "Oh, was that a tick?" Or like, "You're doing that now?" And I was like, No, like I'm just
which
being dramatic." just,
right,
I'm just mad at myself when I smack myself. Like, you're right. I probably shouldn't do that because it could turn into a tick. So
right,
let me not. Yeah, but I've heard
yeah,
that so many times.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good line.
yeah, yeah. And he just likes to ask every once in a while just to be sure, so he knows
Mm-hmm.
how he doesn't want to react in a weird way or something if
Yeah.
it's a tick, so he wants to be
Yes.
sure. And he doesn't have, I mean, obviously he's pretty used to a lot of my ticks. So, but
Mm-hmm.
some of them surprise me.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
There's new stuff that pops up all the time for sure.
like my little clicking one, I've been doing it a little bit here because my vocal ones, they start to come out when I get more ramped up a little bit and excited. So, obviously, I'm excited for things that we've talked about before recording
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then my vacation next week. So like I'm
Yeah.
anticipating like that was half the reason. So like tomorrow so for me, like a lot of other people that I've talked to anyways, excitement is like number one trigger for me. Tippy top, like number one.
That is when I get new ticks
Yeah,
every time.
yes.
Yeah.
And so I was telling her the other day quickly that I had Tourette syndrome. I don't remember how it came up, but she told me, she's like, "Oh no, somebody, my friend's son has that or something like that." And she
Mm.
said that he even had mostly motor too, which was cool.
Yeah.
But I was worried about tomorrow because I was supposed to go in, but tomorrow's like the last day before like I'm done for a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I was worried also about how much I would be taking and how much I would actually be able to help this woman while draining her.
Yeah.
So and I kind of just so I just threw it out there like nonchalantly. I was like, yeah, this morning I was gonna see like if so and so wanted to come in and maybe just work my shift tomorrow so that way I can do some stuff from home, get some stuff done before vacation. I was like, but I really don't want to leave you hanging, just to kind of like, see how it lingered in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's
See
like, well,
what her
actually,
response
I'm
is.
right. She's like, I'm going out of town this weekend. So she's like, if I could not come in tomorrow, that would be great. And I'm like,
Okay.
all right. But like, because I was nervous about like taking too much while I was with her and with like
Mhm.
clients and stuff like that. And like, they're all great, great people. I mean, they're like obsessed dog parents like myself. So I get along with them
Yeah.
just fine. Um, Quite a few of them have told me that if I leave, that they're never coming back, which is,
Oh, you are valuable to the company.
yeah.
Apparently.
Um, so but I didn't feel like having to explain to everybody and everything else dealing with my excitement and whatnot. I just wanted to be at home because my tics
Mhm.
and because I get to a point where, like, yeah, obviously we were talking about lighthearted stuff, but like I do get to a point where like I get really upset with myself and my tics when I'm excited because it ruins like the excitement because these tics always got to come out of nowhere and be jerks
Mhm.
and be like, oh, you're excited? Let's take care of that.
Right.
And so that part's frustrating. So I just didn't want to be in that predicament. So, and thankfully it all worked out. The girl's like, "Oh, absolutely. I know how it is. Like before you leave for vacation, you got to get a bunch of stuff done." I'm like, "Yeah, that too."
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I have a friend staying at the house with the dogs rather than my mother-in-law because my mother-in-law
Mhm.
just had surgery. She's all right, thankfully. Like,
Mm,
but obviously she can't have three 65 plus pound dogs jumping on her after she just had surgery.
right.
So my friend's coming to the house, so we're like cleaning extra as if she'll judge me for having like some dust somewhere.
That's okay.
So I just got
Well,
to get all the stuff
yeah,
done.
that's fine. But that's really cool that she was able to utilize it and have to be off and be able to be off as well. That works out.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely
Like
works out.
everybody wants a 3-day weekend when you weren't expecting it, right? Like that's,
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. I feel like that needs to be a thing all the time. Theater weekends. Um,
I agree with you. 4-day work week. Let's do it.
yes. Let's have it. Make it be a thing. Maybe we wouldn't be so stressed and then we wouldn't take so
Right.
much.
I think that was most of mine. I'm sure there's more moments that I've had that made me laugh at my ticks, but
Same.
and I'm sure there's way more to come in this hopefully
Oh,
way longer
absolutely.
life of mine. So maybe we can do another one where it's like that. Or maybe that could be a thing where that could be a grab app episode. If anybody has any funny stories that make them laugh
Hmm.
of what their ticks made them do, let us know.
Oh, for
Tourette's
sure.
podcast at gmail.com. You can reach out to us, let us know, and maybe we'll read a couple of them on some episodes so that we can see how well we relate to them. I think that could be fun.
Yes, for sure. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we appreciate you being here. And as always, I always say "as always" as if that's the catchphrase. Uh, but I guess as always, stay positive. I don't know. Have a
We got to
great
come up
day.
with a catchphrase.
I know we do at the end. I don't know. Anyways, have a great day, guys.
Yes. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.